Good evening and welcome to the City of Isani. That's not going to work. City Council meeting for Tuesday, May 5th, 2020 at 7 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I don't think all of us need to unmute, because you can hear, I can hear myself echoing here, and my phone's on mute right now.
Yeah, but you gotta turn your volume down.
My volume's all the way down. And I can take it off speaker too. Let's see if that makes a difference. That makes a difference. So hopefully they can hear me because I'm not on speaker anymore. Doing roll call, all council members are present. If there's any public comment at this time and you are via telephone, unmute yourself and state your name and address, please.
It was very choppy because I think they cannot hear you on the phone. It's picking up through just mics in general. So I'm just going to say it again into the phone, okay? Good evening, everyone. Anyone for public comment? No comment. And you have public comment tonight? Please speak up now. Now, mute yourself.
If there's no public comment at this time, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion to adopt the agenda from Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Dan.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And Jeff Johnson, aye. Proclamations, commendations, or certified award, I can't even talk today, is years of service or retirement recognition of Donald C. Lornsung. We're here to recognize Don Lornsung, who was the former city administrator and served in that capacity for over 13 years. He is retiring from full-time city work. Don has over 35 years in local government service. During his time in Isani, he wore other hats at various time periods, which included special projects, city clerk, and interim treasurer. Mr. Lornsung, if you are online, please unmute yourself and speak now, sir.
Don, are you there? Don, if you're on the line, if you could unmute yourself.
I'll just go ahead and hopefully he can hear us. I'm just going to say a big,
is coming
huge
up.
thanks to Don. Okay. If you can hear us, Don, this is obviously a little different than what we'd like, but I just want you to know that you're going to be very, very missed. I'm glad that you're still within the community, and I really commend you on your years of service and all the good things you've done for City of Isani. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Don. Enjoy your retirement.
Here, I hear you. Thank you, Don. I don't think he knows better.
Yeah, I don't really know that. I sure appreciate his work he's done and his years of service, and wish him the best going forward. So.
And last but definitely not least, Councilman Lundin, who probably spent the most time with Don Lornsung.
Don, I appreciate everything you've done, all the great work you've done for the city. and I wish you the best of luck on your new endeavors. Thank you, Don, for all your years of service and your dedication and hard work.
And I'll ask one more time, Don, if you are there, sir, please unmute yourself if you'd like to say anything. I think hopefully Don's on a fishing boat and he's totally forgot that he was supposed to be here tonight.
He was on there earlier, 'cause I saw his video where his face showed up.
Well, I hope he's on a fishing boat and totally forgot.
Well, all these undoing times we have right now makes life a lot more difficult. So
Does
hopefully sooner or later this moves forward and passes on and we can get back to some normalcy.
I concur. We'll move on with the meeting with approval of city council minutes from April 21st and March 17th. April 21st was a regular meeting of city council, and March 17th was a planning commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Paul Burgley, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Carlson, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. Announcements. Committee of a Whole will be Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 at 5 p.m. City Council meeting Tuesday, May 19th at 7 p.m. And Planning Commission meeting will be Tuesday, May 19th, immediately following the City Council meeting. Council committee reports, I've kind of stuffed a few items in here myself. The first one, I'm looking for discussion from the council. And I did talk to Melissa Bettendorf this evening. Okay, whoever that was. I did talk to Ms. Bettendorf, and they're not sure what they want to do for the parade, but it is in talks that they might cancel that parade. With that being said, do we as a council want to continue or not continue with fireworks?
I think, well, in my opinion, fireworks can be done with social distancing. Regardless if the parade is canceled or not, it'd be something for the the residents to enjoy. We've already had it budgeted for, and I think a lot of people can possibly enjoy them from their home.
Cars.
I would have to agree, Councilman Collison. Myself, I think I'd have to commend the county and the city more so. We had, 4 cases of this pandemic, if I recall right? Not one of them in the city of...
6 as of yesterday.
Okay, 6. Not one of them in the city of Isani that I'm aware of. So kudos to the residents in Isani on using common sense and social distancing. And I think when it comes to these fireworks, I think it would give our community something to enjoy. They can be in their cars, they can be in their homes, they could practice that social distancing. So I would have to say I agree with Councilman Burgley, and I give it a thumbs up and keep it in place. Councilman Lundin?
I personally don't think we should cancel anything until the last minute. I don't think there's any judge in the world that would side with any business or anything that we would get entangled with or, do business with if we canceled it at the last minute and say, okay, you got to pay for this. With what's going on right now, I don't think there's a judge in the world that would say, hey, you got to pay it. We got to give people hope. We have to give them something to look forward to after all this being shut in and locked in. It's got to get addressed sooner or later. I hope this things start going away sooner than later. I don't think we should shut anything down. And I think the fireworks for one is definitely gonna be done in social distancing. You know, our next committee of the whole is one day after his extended lockdown is supposed to end. I mean, even today, he stated that he was going to open up elective surgeries and dental offices and other things again now, starting next week. I feel he's feeling pressure, and I think the pressure is, sooner or later, has got to get back to open up, to let people start having a normalcy life. That's my opinion.
Councilman Gordon.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we need to move forward with it, and if we have to cancel at the last minute, we have to, but I think, I agree with what you guys have said, so. I think if they don't do the parade, then we should look at maybe doing it ourselves, so that draws a lot of people to town, and, you know, it's a good way to showcase the businesses in the community and stuff like that, so, I mean, I think if the chamber doesn't move forward with the parade, then I think we should look maybe taking that and running with it a little bit, so.
I can kind of concur with that. There wasn't too long ago that the Chamber of Commerce was planning on canceling the parade because there was no money in it.
I don't think there is any money in it, you know, I mean, it's not what it's for, really, it's for benefit of the businesses, you know, but.
It never has been intended to be for any money in it, for anybody. I mean, other than businesses and the community.
But on the other hand, though, you do need sponsorship. And if you don't have that sponsorship, then there's no money to put the parade on and let the community enjoy it. But it's totally a community enjoyment thing. It's not made to be, to make money at it. That's a definite, but you need the sponsorship in order to put the parade on. And if you don't have that sponsorship, how do you put the parade on? So and then you'd have to think, could the bands be there?
For
You know?
street dance, I don't think that's possible.
You know, I mean, there's certain
The marching
amenities.
bands you're referring to,
Yeah.
a lot of them will be canceled just because of school events and extra
So then how do you have a
been
parade
canceled.
without a band?
Exactly.
Well,
Several bands.
businesses that show up, it's $75. I don't think, you could probably hold a parade with those sponsorship stuff. One year, you just put the parade out and it's $75. Oh,
I don't think your mic's on either. Go ahead, Councilman Wrigley.
well, I think we should go back to the chamber and encourage them to have the parade. I think that we should let them know that we're behind them 100% and that we just hate to see. I mean, what is the date today? May 5th? We're more than 2 months out. We're going to cancel 2 months out. If the governor lifts the order, then how do you undo all that? So I think they should wait till the last minute, just like we should wait till the last minute. I think we should go to the fire district and say we're totally behind you having the rodeo. Just
Well, the rodeo
Well,
has
the
no
rodeo's
intents.
it's not up to the fire district for the rodeo.
Sure it is.
No.
they have
that's-
at least a say in it.
They might
It's
have.
up to the
but
rodeo
it's-
association.
Yep, exactly. And that's a nationwide deal, so,
As of right now, they're still planning it.
yeah.
100%.
The PRCA, if I may, Mayor and Council, the PRCA does have it on their website of rodeos that they have canceled, rodeos that are still intended and going. Right now, they haven't gotten to anything, from what I saw today, past, I think it was July 3rd. So they're just going step by step. Some have canceled, some have not.
Well, I think we should go to everybody we can and just say, hold off. Let's see if we can pull this thing off. Let's not cancel everything. I don't get this whole cancel everything.
Well, you
Everybody's
wanna give-
canceling everything.
You want to give people advance notice, so if they need to cancel hotel reservations, travel plans, because people travel to this rodeo, or I'm sorry, not the rodeo, the parade from all over the state.
No, I get.
They need time to get their stuff together if it's still on, and they need time to cancel if it's not, so.
Well, then
But I would like my opinion, I would like to see the chamber come up with a last minute kind of, how much time do we have before we give these people enough notice to cancel?
Well, I think we should tell the chamber, tell the people we have every intention of having the parade. If this is too far for you to come and you can't cancel last minute, then fine, we'll give you your money back. Or I don't know if they've taken money already, but I think we should just tell everybody the thing is on as much as possible. Tell the fire district we're behind them as a city. Tell the chamber we're behind them as a city for the parade. And do as much as we can.
Right.
Say we have every intention of carrying out our fireworks, and would appreciate if you would reconsider. And
The big task, though, is with the rodeo or parade is the social distancing that may still be required at that time. How are you going to police that?
I think the rodeo could do a good job. I don't know about the parade, to be in all honesty, because you know just as well as I do. I mean, I lived in Maple Grove, I lived in Blaine, and I would travel to this city because I knew it was one of the longest parades in the state of Minnesota. And now that I've moved here and been a resident of the city, it seems to get longer and longer and longer. I think last year it was like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great parade. I'd hate for our residents to miss out on it.
Yeah. I would almost guarantee you that if we put out, say, we cannot control social distancing, I tell you what, people are going to come either way.
But we
And
can
if
control it, and that's our responsibility to if we were putting the parade on.
Well, we are
That
putting
lies
on,
on the city's responsibility if we decide that we're gonna do the parade. That is our responsibility. So you can't say we can't control it.
If I may, I'd like to just share some other things that we've heard from other cities, because as Councilmember Carlson has just stated, it is up to the organizer to maintain social distancing if that is still in place. So for that reason, many cities, St. Francis, North Branch, Princeton, East Bethel, Coon Rapids, more and more cities are canceling. They've already canceled events. Some of them have just canceled June. Many of what I just listed is canceled because they have July events. And it's because the liability falls upon the organizer to have that be maintained. So, for example, the rodeo, I'll leave separate because that's their own deal, and they have a closed circuit. If they get full of space, they already can shut their doors. I'd like for a minute to talk about the logistics of our street dance, because that is our event, and we don't have doors to close. I would like to know, and maybe we wait till it gets a little bit closer, but what would be the plan from council for staff to carry out to require those social distancing? Would we put up snow fence, and then we kept track of people? The other thing is, we reached out to some of our food vendors, and the question there is difficult. How many people are you gonna let in? Because we need to know how much food to plan for. We need to know how much beer to buy, because if we buy too much, it's wasted. We let a whole keg go, that's money out of our pocket. So those are things to just consider. The other thing is making sure, or just letting you know, it's not just us, but it's also the bands and the vendors. If social distancing is still happening and everyone's trying to plan, they may cancel on us, which is not off the table. As we reached out to them, they all hoped it would happen too. Most of them are fine with waiting to see what happens. However, if they don't feel safe, they're not coming to our event. And a lot of time is taken by staff to plan, and if we're okay with letting that time be wasted, that's fine too, because in hopes of things happening, I'm on board with that, but just so everyone is aware.
Because I would probably consider canceling the June street dance, but hopefully July would be a go by then. June is just, it's not that far away.
My recommendation from staff, mayor, and council is to cancel the June street dance, postpone the June mayor's luncheon to July, and hope that all the July and August events happen.
This could all change May 18th, and now we're going to postpone things in June. So May 18th, he comes up and says, hey, we're free and clear, we're slowly going to bring the economy back, and now we've postponed things to July. So now we're sitting here in June twiddling our thumbs.
I don't
How
think
do you undo that?
it's just
You
precautionary.
can't. So right now, in all honesty, I'd say wait until our May 19th meeting, and then see what happens May 18th.
I
And
concur with that.
If he prolongs this more, and And I'm going to say it exactly how it is. It's prolonging, because I think he should slowly be opening our economy and letting these people out of their homes. I think a lot more people have common sense than he's giving them credit for.
I just don't know how you're gonna keep people from dancing and social distancing at a street dance.
You know, it's one of them things, Councilman Collison, that you come at your own risk. And if you're going to come at your own risk,
Then are you gonna have everybody sign a waiver before they come through the fence?
if that's what it takes, then so be it.
I say you gotta give people hope. I'm totally behind hope.
Absolutely.
I'm sick of this whole thing.
Well, everybody is.
And I,
But we gotta be responsible about it.
I think we've all showed up to these council meetings because we didn't want to instill fear in any of our
no,
residents.
absolutely.
So we've all showed up.
Yeah.
We're all here. We're all 6 feet apart or close to it. Because we didn't want to instill that fear. We wanted to give hope. We wanted to give them a light at that end of that tunnel. So us starting to cancel things, all we're doing is whoever wanted to cripple our economy and instill fear is winning. And they're winning in the fact of the matter of we're letting them. We're Americans, darn it. Stand up, stand tall, fight back. Yeah, you can use your common sense and your social distancing and be respectful.
Absolutely. I deal with the public every day. I have people come to my office every day, and
That's a big difference though, between 300-400 people dancing together.
I'm not saying,
the
I'm not
city
even, I'm
isn't
not even saying,
responsible
I'm not
for
even
it.
comparing my office to the street dance. What I am saying is, I'm talking to people about this, and people are sick and tired of doing what they're doing. People are ready
everybody
to,
is.
people, yeah, everybody is, and everybody isn't believing, like the mayor says, it's time to get back to work, period, end of sentence. And if we start canceling things along the way, I think people are gonna say, well, they're buying in too. I'm not buying in. So whatever you guys wanna do, I say keep going forward. That's my view.
I'll say this. I am one of them guys that if I wasn't dying, I'd go to work. I am one of them guys. But now in today's time and age, you can't be that way. Right now I have allergies, and I can for 100% tell you I have allergies. Am I going to sneeze or possibly cough because of my allergies? It's a possibility. But I'll look at you straight in your face, straight in your eye, and say, I have horrible allergies. My apologies. But if I had some symptoms that I could not or would not even dare to say what it was, then I'm not even going to say pretty sure. I am sure that I would stay home and or go to the doctor.
Yeah. I also
But
want to
the
say that
issue
I'm not the only one talking like this. The Republican part of the, and I'm not taking, I could care less about, I could care less about partisan politics here. I'm just going to compare what the state reps are doing in our state house in St. Paul. In our state house in St. Paul to what we want to do. They said to the governor, we are not going to do the bonding bill until you cease the emergency powers, peacetime emergency powers declaration. And I'm totally behind these guys, not because I'm a Republican, but because enough's enough. And I talked to Representative Brian Johnson, and he said, we just want you to have, you being me, or the general public, to have a seat at the table, and not the governor deciding what's going on. You know, if it's up to me and listening to my people that I talk to, people want to go back to work. And I say, let them.
They want to go back to life.
Back to life, period. Yeah, I hear people also always on social media. Hey, which day is open so I can go have a meal or whatever.
I just want to add something while you're looking at this. I've talked to a lot of the residents, and I asked them about this, if they feel that we should cancel things. I'm lucky I didn't get hit in the head. They were livid. Absolutely not. Not unless we positively, absolutely have to. They do not want it stopped. And that's not me that's saying this. That's the residents. And I talked to other people in other communities. They said the same thing. And I agree with you, Dan. I totally respect what you're saying. I totally understand where you're coming from. But I think there's a lot of skewed numbers, and I think there's a lot of misled information from the news media and the CDC. Matter of fact, just before I came here tonight, the CDC had two different numbers, 30,000 cases off from two different websites from the CDC. The CDC's website, not a fake one, but two different numbers. You know what the media said? It was 2 weeks apart. So why is it, if the CDC is updating this thing hourly, why are they having something that's 2 weeks apart? It's because they're showing so many different models of what's going on. They don't know which model they're telling you today.
They don't know if they're coming or going.
So I just think, I agree with you, Dan. I think we have to look at that in the long run, but I think we need to at least hold off, and if nothing else, till next council meeting, to see what governor does. And if he's lifting all these things, then we move to the next phase. You know, and we have to play this all by ear. If the band could cancel on us at the last minute, I don't see any reason we can't cancel on them at the last minute. And I think they would understand that as well as we would
should.
understand theirs. So I think we keep everything as planned as is right now. And I believe that we at least wait till the 19th before we make any hard decisions on it. That is my opinion.
The only one that I'd be concerned about, Ms. Wood, is the mayor lunch, because that is this month, correct? Or is that in June?
June.
The mayor's luncheon is on June 17th.
Oh, we could wait on that too then. So May 18th, we'll know. So when we come to our meeting May 19th, then we should have this discussion again.
Works for me, we'll bring it back. Thank
So
you.
The only
Mayor-
thing I would like to say about that is, he went 2 weeks. If he goes another 2 weeks, then we're in limbo again, in my opinion. You know, but we'll have the discussion on May 19th.
Correct.
And I agree with what you guys are saying. I think that it's, I mean, Dan, I think, I respect what you're saying, but I think that people can come at their own risk, you know. I mean, if they've got a sickness, a prior health issue, or they're elderly, I mean, it may not be the thing for them to do right now, but, you know, and we could have somebody maybe have the city attorney draft up a waiver, you know, if we feel like that's necessary, but yeah, I think we want to keep going and keep moving and keep pushing forward with getting these things set up and ready to go, so.
What we need to remember is that you could be carrying it, and you don't need to have symptoms to transfer it. You can't forget that. So,
But you could say that about you could
like
say,
you said, if you're not feeling well, you're not going to come. You could be totally fine and still carry it.
but Dan, you can say that about every infectious disease known to man. I mean, people do that.
We're
you can
not
say-
in those times right now. We're in a COVID-19 time right now.
Well, we're
And it's
also
our
in the, we're
responsibility
still
to
in the, we're
protect
still
our
in the flu
residents.
season though, too. The flu season is still going on.
We have a cure for that.
We have a cure for, well, whatever.
Yeah,
More
big
peop-
difference.
More people died from the flu than they have
We
this.
don't have a cure for the flu. I'll argue that one all day long.
I will say this, if somebody wants to wear a mask,
So be it.
so be it, let them wear a mask. I choose not to wear a mask because I can't stand wearing them. But if I go into somebody's home, which I do service work, and they request it, I'll put on a mask for their benefit,
Comfort.
their comfort. And I'm going to tell you right now, a mask does not stop somebody from getting the virus. It's supposedly supposed to stop you from spreading the virus.
And that's only approved masks, not the fabric masks that you see people wearing.
Well, and it's any of the masks, period.
It's any of them.
My whole point is, if you feel unsafe about doing something, stay home. I'm not going to belittle you or judge you for that. That's your choice to make. And you know, with that said, that's all I can say. I mean, there's nothing else I can say to add to that.
So the mayor's lunch, the fireworks, the street dance will hold off until the May 19th council meeting. Okay.
Agree.
The other thing that I wanted to discuss is the Cambridge Isani High School and School Board has contacted me that they want to do a parade for the seniors. June 5th at 7 p.m. would be their virtual graduation.
It's the business item number 1. Mayor?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
He's not looking at your iPad.
I was looking at my notebook, Miss Wood, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll move on then.
I have a council committee report.
I can hear you, everyone needs to talk with their phone like this, except for Councilmember Lundin. I can hear you plain as day, but the rest of you, if you can hold your phone here, I can hear you plain as day, but not if it's down like this. You're half and half, so you don't have to have it as close, it just must be the way people's mics pick it up.
You're not picking me up with me holding mine right here?
You're good like that.
Oh, okay.
Hold it up.
Probably just difference in phones.
Go ahead, Councilman Carlson.
The BMX national event that was scheduled to be here, and obviously is it has not been canceled at this time. It has been postponed. They're hoping it's sometime in September. Just to update you on that, because I had heard it was canceled through social media.
Yeah, that's what you told me, actually.
Yeah, it is not officially canceled. It is
Well, that's good.
postponed.
Good.
So
Good to hear. I'm glad they
to hear.
didn't
I just
cancel it.
wanted-
Postponing
yeah.
it? Okay.
I just want to clarify that. So that's all
Good,
I
good.
have.
Any other council committee reports? All right, none at this time. We'll move on to the business items. K1, it's a resolution approving a special event permit request from the Cambridge Isani School District for senior graduation parade. Now, as I was saying, I spoke to the high school and school board this afternoon. They plan on doing a virtual graduation June 5th at 7 p.m. And then they're asking for a parade, which will go through Cambridge. Then it'll come down to Isani. They want to start that parade lineup at 2 o'clock. The parade will start at 3, and they want to be done by 5:30 in order to make it to their virtual graduation at 7 p.m. They are going to meet next Wednesday at 2:15. I will be involved in that meeting as well. I actually volunteered myself to be on the parade team because they do have a parade, a supply, and a virtual team. And I jumped on board because I'm a huge advocate. I'm sure every one of us got to do our ceremonial walk, our senior skip days and senior prank days and what have you. Councilman Gordon's smiling because I'm bringing back memories for him. They don't get to have that, unfortunately. So the way I'm looking at it is anything that we can do, small, large, minute, or what have you. I mean, I'm on board with these seniors. So they're looking for a special event permit so they can have that parade through the city of Isani.
I make a motion to approve it.
So they would, it's all on them then. So they're in charge of everything. They're responsible for everything. School
The only
district
thing
is-
we'd be responsible for is obviously we would have to help out with closing roads, police, presence. Hopefully I can talk to Chief Al Jankovic and get, maybe a fire department presence. They would be in charge of everything. The only thing that they were a little worried about was this would have to work as a field trip capacity to where they would send a permission slip home in order to cover their liability.
Right.
So, yes. Any other questions or comments? We're good? I have a motion to accept by Councilman
Second.
Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Carlson, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. No opposing, therefore it passes 5-0. The Community Development Director, Ms. Selman, I believe is online with us, so we'll move on to her items. K2, a resolution approving a conditional use permit for religious institution at 1321 Heritage Boulevard. If you gentlemen recall, we did discuss these in the Planning Commission. Ms. Selman, are you online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead and speak away, young lady.
Okay, so the applicant is the Tibetan American Foundation of Minnesota. TAFM. We're requesting a conditional use permit for a religious institution at 1321 Heritage Boulevard. That district is zoned B2 general business. A religious institution requires a conditional use permit there. You may recall that Spirit River Church previously occupied that space. They did not have a conditional use permit. If they did, it would just transfer the land. However, for whatever reason, they do not have a conditional use permit, and that is why TAFM needs the conditional use permit. They do meet all the requirements for a conditional use permit. Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 21st. The applicant attended virtually and was there to answer questions. Nobody spoke in opposition. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval with a condition that the parking lot be fixed within 1 year. What you have attached is the resolution for approval, findings, facts, and the conditional use permit that will get recorded.
You got echo.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor say your name and aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. With no opposing, motion carries 5-0. Moving on to K3, ordinance, an ordinance approving the amendment of Ordinance 445 zoning, the official zoning map. Ms. Selman, you care to speak on that one?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant, Ian Boone of Security Circle Counseling, is requesting to rezone the property located at 201 Main Street from R3A low density residential to B1 Central Business District with the B1 downtown overlay to build a new office building. The R3A district does not allow for office buildings, therefore rezoning is necessary. The comprehensive land use plan is to ensure the orderly growth and development of the city and maintain the infrastructure economy. The site has a comprehensive land use plan of Central Business District, therefore doing the rezoning does make this comply with our comprehensive land use plan. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on April 21st. The applicant was available for questions. The adjoining property owners did ask that if they were going to be rezoned, and it was stated at the meeting that they were not, the rezoning is specific to this property only. Because it is amending our map and that is part of our zoning code, you do need to do the site ordinance, and that is attached for your approval.
Any discussion on this item?
Second it.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. With no opposing, motion carries 5-0. K4, or an ordinance amending Ordinance 445, Section 7, Article 1, to include commercial recreation as a conditional use. Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Scott Folker has requested an ordinance amendment to allow for commercial recreation in the Central Business District. That's basically our downtown district. Right now, commercial recreation is not allowed use. He's asking to add this as a permitted use in the B1 district. However, the other business districts in town do allow commercial recreation as a conditional use. Therefore, staff recommends this added. We should add this as a conditional use. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on the zoning request at the April 21st meeting and also agreed that this should be under a conditional use permit if we add it to the zoning district. Again, this is not site specific. It is for the actual zoning district. So everything in the B1 district, if we do approve this ordinance, would be able to have a commercial, the commercial use as a conditional use, the commercial recreation use as conditional. So the ordinance is before you tonight.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. With no opposals, motion carries 5-0. Do I have an approval for the consent agenda?
I had a question on the consent agenda. On L2, we're filling a position there for community development specialist. Is that a position we had previous to this, or is that a new position that we're putting someone into, or?
It is, Ms. Wood could probably touch better on this than I could. Go ahead, Ms. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Gordon, that is the position that was formerly listed as our city planner. When we had our city planner resign, we did take a look at that job description and found that the city planner title did not suit exactly what was in the job description. So we simply renamed it with a new title that is more consistent with what other cities have. And so it's not a new position, just a new title to the same job description.
Is that sufficient for you, Councilman Gordon?
Yeah, just let me get my mute button here, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. And that resignation happened just like a month ago or something like that, didn't it? It was.
Yes, approximately 1 month ago.
All right, I just wanted to make sure we weren't creating a new position for something there without looking closer at it, so.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye. And
Aye.
state your name.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye. With no opposing, motion carries 5-0. Any other communications, Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to state that Don Lorsung was on the line and he was hearing everything that all the council members said, including yourself, Mayor, and he wanted to say thank you very much. And those are very gracious words that you all shared with him. He appreciated it.
We all love you, Don. We're going to miss you, but darn it, get on that boat. I want to see photos of those fish.
And we'll wait for the invite to the fish fry.
I second that one, Councilman Collison.
After the pandemic.
After the pandemic, correct?
I can eat
Councilman Lundy?
fish 6 feet apart.
I could do that too, actually.
I'll make it work.
I wasn't gonna second that one. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Burgley. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, state your name and say aye.
Jimmy Gordon, aye.
Steve Lundin, aye.
Dan Collison, aye.
And myself, Jeff Johnson, aye with no opposing. Motion carries 5-0. Therefore, we stand adjourned.